Oh, sorry, I didn't see you there. I was just farming for 8 hours straight on this new gacha game that came out. Mobile games, they aren't a new phenomenon. We're long past the days of Angry Birds, Flappy Bird, bird spikes, and our obsession with cartoon birds in them. However, as mobile games have evolved, people desire more and more from them, and that one extra life microtransaction just isn't selling anymore. So if cartoons don't make enough money, well, anime girls will. The gacha system is one I'm certain you're familiar with to a certain extent. The term comes from Japanese vending machines that spit out random toys from a limited pool. Gacha somehow coming from the sound of cranking the machine, although the Japanese also think cats make a nyan sound and not a meow, so I won't question it too much. Games with gacha mechanics parallel their real-life counterparts, where one rolls for their favourite character in a pool of other ones have a very slim chance of getting the one you want. Mostly you'll be looking at a less than 1% chance, which sounds absolutely crazy. So why do people buy into it, both figuratively and literally? Oh, finally! Akita's on right up. I can actually summon her. What's this? I've got 0 quartz. Well, I guess I don't need food this month. I don't need to make a skit about being subscribed or buy a new mic. It's okay. I'm sure everyone will understand. I mean, just look at her. Alright, going to make the purchase. What? My card got declined? Casual now spends his days on street corners begging for money, just so he can buy the newest servant in Fate Go. Visit gambleaware.com. That's gambleaware.com, so you never end up like this. Thank you. The idea that gambling is addictive is probably something I don't need to tell you. It's ingrained into my culture at least that gambling equals bad because of the huge amounts of money you can lose. However, people's morality goes out the window anyway when it comes to anime characters. In my time, I've played 2 gacha games extensively, D4 DJ and Fate Grand Order, or FGO for short. One of them I fell off after about a week, and the other, well, let's not get into that right now, okay? D4 DJ is a rhythm-based game in which players attempt to get a high score on a song by the use of a mock DJ turntable. If you've played any rhythm game before, you know how dastardly hard they can be, but also how satisfying it is to get a high score or hitting every note perfectly on a particular song you're into. What separated D4 from its competition is both by being a mobile game and having gacha elements. In the game you could roll for better idols to increase how good your team was, get higher scores, and have to be less skilled to compete at the higher levels. D4 was incredible with its rates. In fact, I have a sneaking suspicion that the highest rarity of unit would always be rolled on your first roll of an event banner. A banner itself being a chance to get your favourites or new characters with increased rate for the uninitiated. D4 was a very light gacha game with easy to collect characters and a focus more so on the gameplay itself. It had events where you could participate with other players, and I'm proud to say I was actually number 3 in the world for the quintessential quintuplets event at one point. I can't prove it anymore because, you know, but trust me, I was addicted. Even though I did enjoy the game itself, I fell off it hard after the event ended as playing solo didn't really have the same appeal. The gacha was unenticing because it was so generous, and the story was, well, better in the anime, even if that was a CG mess. To truly get into a gacha game, I needed a good story, likeable characters, brutal pickup rates, and an incentive to grind the game. For me, that came in the form of Fate Grand Order. FGO is a game I've put more than 300 hours into. Casually. Now, I know what you're thinking. Oh, casual, you have no life. Such a feat is easy work for you. Whilst it may be true that I do run an AniTube channel, I don't really put 300 hours into a game too often, unless it was 15-year-old me putting upwards of 1,000 into Siege, a mistake I think I'll always regret. However, FGO has long since caught me in its web. Fate is a franchise I'm sure that needs no introduction. It's absolutely massive, and even just watching the variety of anime it has requires a long look at watch orders and giving up immediately. The problem is, I didn't. Fate has become my favourite anime franchise. I like the stories it tells, and particularly the works of its main author, Kanoku Nasu. Story? Check. FGO has a variety of my favourite characters from the franchise, and some new ones. Characters? Check. FGO has some of the worst rates in gacha history, with no system to stop the player from losing everything. Rates? Check. FGO requires needless and repetitive grinding to level up your favourite characters. Incentive to play the game? check. It ticked all of the boxes, and that's why I hate that I love Fate Grand Order, but I'm 100% addicted. The rates are low enough that rolling a super rare or SSR of your favourite character is a feeling I'm sure is replicated by winning thousands at a roulette table. Gambling has a goal. You win more money than you put in. Gacha doesn't. You win an image of the girl you like from a 1999 novel. One of the main reasons for Gacha's success is the lack of regulation. In real-life gambling, people are well aware of the risks. In video games, loot box systems appeared a lot in the mid-2010s, but were replaced rather quickly due to how much players hated them. Gacha has gone largely under the radar, and thus, completely out of hand. What compels gacha addicts is really quite hard to say. You'll see people proclaim they'll quit the game and come back not even a week after. You'll see the system absolutely fail and people waste tons of money. The gameplay is usually bare bones and basic with not much to offer. But we keep playing. Whether it's the dopamine rush from being free to play and rolling the one unit you've always wanted, enjoying the stories that can be told in a simple mobile game format, or finding a gameplay system that really is quite unique, there is something that keeps us coming back for more, and that, I suppose, is an achievement. So why did I make this video? Was it simply to have an excuse to talk about FGO and have everyone forget about my awful upload schedule? Partly, but it's also an open letter, one to the people I know long since deep in gacha hell, one to Genshin Impact fans displaying my condolences you ever got into it, one to myself, although it won't stop me from saving up to have a chance of rolling one character I actually want in 9 months, but most importantly, one to you. Whether you've never played a gacha game, you're a chronic addict, or somewhere in between, never for the love of God get into Fate Grand Order because that's hell you're walking into. Meanwhile, I'm going to be staying safely away, although I suppose one last roll wouldn't hurt. Fuck.